What's up, awkward insurance folks? Thanks again for joining us. I am Dustin Bryant, one of two awkward hosts, and Kat is the other. Howdy, Kat.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing today? Is there anything new in your world?
So, yes, at the risk of getting super girly for a moment, hope the boys don't mind. I tried a new skincare thing last night. It's called slugging.
Oh, no.
And you basically just go to sleep with a whole bunch of Vaseline on your face.
Amazing.
It's better than what my brain was thinking with like slugs on your face.
Unfortunately, though, like I let both of my dogs sleep in my bed, and Marley also likes to put his butt on my pillow when I'm not in bed. So when I woke up, my skin was glorious. Look, I've got no makeup on, but I also had like dog hair just stuck to me everywhere.
No.
If there was
Now, the two guys that are on the podcast with us today, I bet they slug.
I slug hard. I slug real hard.
Is that brand we use?
No.
I forgot.
No, my wife is really into skincare.
Vaseline.
My wife just got like this micro needler at home. And
Oh, yes, I have one of those.
she micro needles her hands and her knees. She's like, nobody wants old knees.
Okay, so totally weird girly thing. I've always liked my wrists. I don't know why. I just thought, I've got dainty little wrists. I burned my wrist in the oven one day and I had this scar, and it was a little scar. Nobody noticed, but it just bugged me. So I started micro needling the scar on my wrist.
Yeah.
All gone.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Pretty
The
wrists again.
The wrists are back in the wild. They're out and about.
Yeah, control yourselves, fellas.
Yeah. Like for dating profiles and stuff. It's just a
No.
picture of your wrist.
You're like, I can stop wearing long sleeve shirts now. The wrists are back out. Now I'm
Right.
being self-conscious about my wrists. What are you looking at? What are you looking
Oh
at?
my gosh. You guys, I'm so excited today. We are talking with the astronauts of Glovebox. Do you call yourselves the astronauts?
We do
I
not.
mean, you
We
walk
actually-
around with an astronaut.
We actually are torn between astronaut, spaceman, space person. What are we calling it? What are we doing?
The astronaut is not like an actual being. The astronaut is more of like an idea. So we want to make sure that comes through effectively. It's anything you really want it to be, really.
The astronaut is a persona. So we have the brothers Mathisen here today, both Ryan and Andy. Everybody say hello to Ryan. Let's hear you first.
What's up? Glad
What's
to
up?
finally make this happen, y'all. It's been too long. We've been talking about this. So
I know. And then there's Andy sitting on the other side of this
Hello.
really awesome podcast studio with some seriously cool neon signage
if you could
over the
see
top.
the
How long
rest
have we had that?
of the room.
We this is our first episode ever with the new setup. So it's like 95% done. We have a couple more things to do on the other side of this wall, but yeah, it's looking pretty darn cool.
All right. So important first question. Who's the oldest?
Oh, that's more of a question for you.
No, we're not going to play this game. If we're judging off wrists, I'm the youngest. If we're judging off of straight years, I'm the oldest. I'm 4 years older, but my wrists look young, super young. I don't let these puppies get in the sun at all. You know?
Now I'm taller, better looking, all that good stuff. So
Oh my gosh. Wow.
we won't do this fight now.
See
But
what happens. See what I get.
I think we are going to end up doing this fight now. Oh, that's awesome. You're right. We are so excited to have you guys on the podcast. I've been tracking you for a minute. You haven't been tracking me at all. It's fine. But no, so I first heard about you guys on social media. And then one of our sales folks got involved in a demo with you guys. And we are both from agency backgrounds. And she hit me up on a message. She's like, you have got to do the Glovebox demo. It's amazing. It's awesome. It's cool. I'm like, yeah, I've heard a lot of things about it. Just don't have the time for it right now. So I finally made the time for it after coming to you guys' One City World Tour. Let's talk about that for a minute. How are you guys feeling about the conference? It was really cool.
I'm still recovering. It's been 3 weeks or so. Planning for that thing was an animal.
I'll take all the credit. I did all the work.
Yeah.
So I did nothing. No, Andy did all the work and I literally did nothing. I had no clue how it was going to go. I showed up and I was like, wow, we put on a really nice event that I didn't help with. So
I believe that because I saw way more of Andy than I did of
oh
you.
yeah. He's like,
Well, it didn't even Sean, your partner, Sean, say, I had no idea we were doing this until this morning.
Now, who's Sean again? Remind me who Sean is. Sean, introduce yourself.
Sean got Facebooks. we just
Oh no.
we just worked him out yesterday.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of work for my whole team. So Gabby Heckle and Caitlin Lee here, who are in the room as well. They helped tremendously on this event. It was extremely successful. I would ask you, what did you think of it?
I loved it, you know? Oh, Dustin's about to say something.
God, it was awful.
No, I had fun. And I particularly loved you guys' presentation on your story of Up and Coming. I mean, the way you presented it and the step-by-step, the bite-sized information, it was flawless. It was perfect. It was awesome because it could have been so overwhelming. The depth of information that you guys had to deliver, but the way you delivered it was digestible, but 100%. But I think I ended up on the stadium tour with you, Andy, and your space person.
The astronaut was roaming around.
The footage from that was epic.
My husband was with me, and I don't know how many times I commented, we're going to get kicked off this tour because of that astronaut. Like, the craziness of everything that he was doing. I was enjoying it. I was just afraid that the guys that were leading us around were going to just be like, the tour is over.
Now, the good news is Gabby and Caitlin made an amazing recap video of the One City World Tour featuring the astronaut. And now Logan, who is the astronaut, has changed his LinkedIn to officially be the Glovebox astronaut.
Yeah, you'll have to check that out.
That's
Look up
good news.
Logan Willis.
It's coming to life.
All right.
That's amazing. No, it really was fun. It was the first, I call it a micro conference. And it was the first micro conference that I had been to. You know, any other one was huge and massive. You get lost in the sea of things. You're just one face among many. But coming to the event that you did with the insurance guys, I enjoyed being seen, if you will. And I could see you and I could talk to you. You weren't inaccessible. I enjoyed that aspect of the conference for sure. The one aspect that I have some feedback on is where are my girls at?
No. Yeah, it's a topic of discussion.
Where are I mean, you knew we were going to bring it up without knowing, right?
Absolutely fair. We had this discussion behind the scenes, and our one speaker who is a woman who got COVID is Carrie Wallace, and she actually did the follow-up seminar afterwards, her session a couple weeks after, which was awesome. But yeah, we're disappointed by that alone in the industry itself, and obviously with what we should have been doing to make that a better mission for us as well. So you're right. You know, two of our former agents at our old agency that we started were there in attendance, and they mentioned that
they
as well.
weren't there in the attendance. They were in the front row. We did ask them if they wanted to speak, and they declined. But they did want to sit in the front row and heckle. That's kind of how they roll. They're like,
fair.
We don't want to be delivering the content. We want to heckle the content, and you know,
it helped with the entertainment for the day.
Those ladies are amazing. They built an agency from scratch. 100% women ran, 100% women employed.
And that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. Almost 10 female agents who they're mentoring, and I was literally texting with Olivia last night. They're amazing. Yeah, so we're hoping to work more closely with them.
Yeah, that trend right there is what we're looking for. You know, it doesn't have to be a female-only agency, but the fact that they're going out of their way to make sure they're bringing in, you know, these representatives who can make something bigger for this industry. What's that saying? Stale, pale, and what is it?
And male.
Yeah. Male.
Yeah, that's so,
yes.
It's so true. It's so yeah. Oh, I heard it for the first time at the event actually.
Honestly, it's not just women. It's LGBTQ representation. It's minority representation. Like, I firmly believe that our industry needs so many different voices from so many different backgrounds in order to truly evolve. And we definitely try to preach that here at Glovebox. We want so many different types of people that are contributing to our project. And that's really how you create change and evolve an industry that is, you know, so old school and outdated. We make fun of agents' websites when it's all dudes that are over 60.
One thing that I got to say that I really appreciated about the One City World Tour, aside from just what a name, that's got gravitas, man. You know, I mean, I've been in the industry for like over 20 years now. You know, I've gone to all these different conferences, and it's always very buttoned up. And it was so refreshing to be in a conference where, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm getting older now, and it's like, oh, look at all these young people here. But, you know, to just see a more relaxed, younger,
hoodies and joggers.
You know,
hoodies and joggers.
Collaborative.
Yeah.
Scott Howell dresses Randy Savage. Like, you're just not going to find that. You're not.
There was someone with a mohawk, wasn't there? Didn't someone have a mohawk?
Absolutely.
That was
you know,
costume. That was just his
That was just his hairstyle. And I was like, oh, I love that because, like, again, for years, like I'm always trying to be super buttoned up and conservative. I'm like, man, I can let my tats show. I can let my hair down a little bit.
You can untuck your shirt and show those wrists.
Show them wrists.
Yes.
Man.
I know you're going with the wrists again.
Incredible.
No, so I'm glad that you guys see that conference as a success. I definitely had fun.
To summarize the One City World Tour, Andy and I have always talked about throwing an event that is not promoting products, that is not pushing an agenda, that is literally just training agents how to be successful. That's what we did for so long in our agency. So like the presentation that we did is exactly how we trained our agents step by step. And it's how we held them accountable. And since we've had no less than 10 agencies reach out talking about their success stories of 3 weeks ago? Yeah. Oh, I reached out to my buddy who's a mortgage broker, and lo and behold, there's 50 other lenders in his office, and I've gotten like 7 referrals already. It's like, that's why we did it. Like that was the value of it. It wasn't to push Glovebox. It wasn't to push any other product. It was just to help them be more successful. And so we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish.
I had someone reach out, said he talked to the branch manager at a brand new shop, and he got in front of their team the other day and spoke to the whole staff about what he wants to do for them. So that was cool. I mean, we're hearing story after story. I just got someone reach out this morning on LinkedIn and said, hey, I was at the event. I would love to schedule some time with you and learn more. So yeah.
That's amazing. And that's definitely the tone of it that I got, is how informative it was, and just that you guys were there. Any of the speakers were there to just be like, pick our brains, ask us anything, set appointments with us. We'll follow up with you after this. Even this isn't just a one-time thing. We'll be back in touch with you anytime that you need. And we definitely got that, which is, I want to talk about the app for sure. But before we get into that, I want everybody to know that they didn't just build a tech app because that's what they wanted to do. You guys have a foothold in the industry before this. You knew the app is because you saw a gap. You saw an opportunity for what this app is feeling. Talk to us a little bit about what your history in the insurance industry is.
Yeah, this is Ryan's baby. I'll let him run with that.
So we had a pretty large agency, family owned. My dad ran it for like 40 something years. Andy and I were always around the business. We went with him to the office on a Saturday and, ran around his office while he was trying to do quotes and whatever, that whole thing. So we've always been around the business.
We would do cold calls when we were teenagers.
Cold calls. I mean, I would help him like literally send out mailers. So I'd be licking, the envelopes, like stacks, like thousands of mailers in like the middle.
I'm
90s.
Getting Seinfeld vibes.
Oh yeah. I could have died. I could have died. This is a very viable concern that I had.
You're a brave man, Ryan.
I know.
Child labor issues.
The thing I do for the industry, So we had about 50,000 clients that we grew the agency to. And I'm sitting at my desk one day and I'm listening to our service team. We had 35 CSRs. We were getting 13 to 14,000 service requests a month. It was literally like someone had posted a free car on Craigslist and everybody in Denver had heard about it and they were calling us. Like that was every day. Yeah. We had screens in our service center just showing people in queue, and they were waiting for 20, 30 minutes sometimes to talk to our service team. It was wild. And so by that point, it was so miserable as a CSR to even answer those calls. Like anybody that's waiting for 30 minutes for anything is not going to be in a good mood. They're already pissed that they have to call. They're already mad that, they're not digitally enabled in any way to solve any of these problems. And so I was like, this is really stupid. Like, how is there not a platform to handle this? We started talking to other agencies. We started poking around in what was available in the market, and agencies were having the same problem, at different scales, of course, but they were all having the same problem. And there was literally nothing available in the industry that really brought all of the stakeholders to the equation. And when I say stakeholders, I mean the policyholder, the carrier, and the agency. So the 3 components weren't being brought together in an ecosystem that just makes sense. Like, why are we not all playing on the same playground to help our policyholders engage better with the channel? And so that's kind of where Glovebox started. My first meeting was with a carrier, and they blew me off. I spent all weekend creating this sweet PowerPoint, and they didn't even show up to the meeting. And that was my first meeting. They totally blew me
ghosted.
I kind of want to put that carrier on blast, but we won't today.
I should find that presentation because I spent all weekend and it was nice.
Should release it.
Yeah. and they blew me off. But so yeah, that was like 4.5 years ago. In 2019, we said, hey, we felt passionate enough about the technology and the problem and really wanting to just pursue this solution that we said, hey, we're going to sell the agency. We're going to jump out into the tech world, know nothing about tech. I knew nothing. I knew how to work in email, and I was pretty solid at PowerPoint, but that's about it. And we just jumped head first. We sold our agency on a Friday, literally, and opened Glovebox on a Monday. So it was like 2 days break. Monday, we're open. We have no products. Let's go. And so that's kind of how it
showed up at the office and like, okay, what now?
We had a 100 square foot co-working space with 4 of us, and that was it. We had no product, no plan. It's like, let's go. Let's do this.
I started calling agencies immediately, asking if they'd like it.
Even though we had nothing to sell them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's talking about a leap of faith. So you guys had a foothold in the industry. Your presentation at One City World Tour was amazing in terms of how you guys generated the number of referrals that you did and the whole process that you walked through in order to grow your agency to the size that you did. Notice that there was this huge gap in terms of your policy holder, which is where I started gaining interest. I was like, all right, they're not talking about this from the producership side of things. They're looking at it like, what can we have done differently and better for our policy holders, which is everything that excites me about the industry. That's the whole reason I was in it. I know some people are in it to make money and be producers and everything, but it takes all kinds to make the world go round. And for me, it was my client on the other side of the phone. And yes, the book that I had came from an older agency. So our clients were much older. So technology really wasn't in the forefront of a need for my particular book. But the buyers are changing. We have, what is it? What's the next generation after millennials? Is it Gen
Z?
Gen Z. We got 2 of them right here. You want to ask them anything? They'll answer.
They're coming into being buyers. This is the next gen. Millennials, everybody talks about millennials like we're still 19 years old, right? We're not. We're turning into the boomer generation at this point because we're getting older.
We're wearing dash shoes. Like the dash shoes. So.
It's the Gen Zers that are coming up. I think Gen Zs are 97 to 2012. So they're between 10 and 25 years old right now. And their buying habits are completely different from boomers, which was predominantly my book, which is completely different from Gen X. What generation are you guys anyway?
We're millennials.
Yeah,
okay, right. Which is
I'm hanging on to Gen X, man. Someone's got to represent.
That's holding strong.
So for us millennials, though, you've even got some millennials that act more like Gen X, and then you've got millennials, and then you've got millennials that act more like Gen Z because
they say words like lit. Things like lit. We say things like lit. We wear skinny jeans to try to stay relevant. I don't know. Is Gen Z? You guys wear skinny jeans? Oh, that's out. Damn it.
They also don't have
I've heard
LinkedIn,
that skinny jeans are out, but I refuse to let mine go. So that's literally why we're turning into the boomers, because the mom jeans are back in style.
That's out on that.
This is mortifying.
We're trying to warn them that mom jeans are not cool, but they're not listening. They're everywhere right now. But the buyer habits are changing, and that's where this app comes into play. So we did a demo of you guys' app. And I felt really bad for the guy that was doing the demo because I know he's like the sales guy and he wants us to buy it now. I'm just like, okay, we're not in a position to buy it, but I want to see what it's like because I've heard it's pretty freaking awesome. And it made me want to go, okay, this is like something that people can put on their websites as a benefit to being one of our clients. We have Glovebox because now I want an agent that has Glovebox because I want to be able to get my ID cards when I want to without going out to my carrier. I want to be able to submit a request if I need something. I want to be able to do it all from my phone because chances are I'm doing it after my work day is done. My kids have come home. We've made dinner. I've got them off to bed. And now I'm laying down in bed and I'm thinking, totally forgot about that scooter that I bought my daughter for Christmas that she just busted her face on. I think I need some coverage for that.
Or I'm going to the DMV tomorrow morning. Ugh, I forgot to call my agent. How annoying.
I know. So the Glovebox app and honestly being able to brand it with your carrier's brand, it was freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about and I know we've got some notes from when we were doing it. And well, actually, you know what? Let's ask this. What really drew you into the client side of it, because you guys could have stayed producership. You could have gone towards sales and everything else. And that's everything that the insurance industry is about. But what really drew you towards the client service part?
Yeah, we just think it's kind of a strange experience to be a client inside the independent channel. By the way, if you ask just the general public, what is an independent agent, they're not going to know. And that's
exactly
that's step one. So you think that your relationship is with the agent, which it is, and then the agent's like, well, also there's this other company involved. It's ABC carrier, and they're like, okay, so what does that mean? Am I working with them? Am I working with you? Who am I working with? And there's different scenarios and different action items for whatever you're trying to accomplish. So that's strange, and we wanted to bring some clarity to that. We want to help them understand that their relationship is their agent. They should go to their agent, but at the end of the day, the reality is their carrier is also involved. So there's things you need to do with them, pay a bill, make the policy change with them, whatever it may need to be. And then, of course, the carrier is going to say, actually, no, you're back with the agent on that carrier, on that policy change. So very weird, right? So,
right. And then by the time we get that client, they're like, well, I called this number that transferred me to this number, and they sent you back to this number. And then as the agent myself, when I had to try and call the service number, and I was like, all right, do I hit 0? Do I hit 1? And then for some reason, I end up getting transferred back to my own agency. And I'm like, I'm not calling myself here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to call the carrier.
If you look at pretty much every technology available to independent agents, every single one of them was built agent forward. Like, how can we help the agent internally run their processes better? To operate more effectively, we decided to go the other way. Let's start at the policyholder side and work backwards. And I think that's like a perspective that we had. I mean, if you think about working with an independent agent, it's awesome coming in. Like, you're like, yes, shop my rates, flexibility, price, product, underwriting. I love that. Now I bought the policies and it just falls off a cliff. Like, the experience just falls off a freaking cliff.
Yeah, I always ask agencies, where do your clients go to manage their policies with you? And they're always like,
well, what they say is, and this is like the key phrase, call or email me if you need anything. That's what every single agent tells their client, every salesperson in the insurance business. Call or email me if you need anything. What do you think that client's going to do when they need something? They're going to call and email you, and multiply that by thousands of clients every single day. And that's how you die as an agent.
Right.
That's how you don't grow your book. That's how you start treading water. And that's how your revenue won't scale, because you're setting these expectations. So again, growing a platform from the policyholder back was something that was important for us. And to reiterate, bringing all of the stakeholders into the equation, which the carriers are stakeholders. So why are we disseminating them in the process when it comes to digital capabilities and relying on a single source of data that's passed through multiple ways? I won't mention who it is, but it's mind-boggling to me. And so we weren't going to go that route. And that's really where we came from.
so here's the Band-Aid that independent agents do right now. If they don't have glove box, they're go on the website, you click service, and there's a massive list of carriers, and you select yours if you can figure out who the hell your carrier is.
Right.
And then when you click on that, you're driven to the portal, and then your experience is now just with that carrier, and you forget who your agency
And
is.
you don't know your logins. You got to find your policy to create a login.
You
And
don't know your policy number. And by the way, that carrier is marketing on their homepage to save 22% on their insurance by going to
Right. I can tell you from the account manager side, it was very rare for a client to know who their carrier was. They thought we were the insurance company.
Yeah.
You guys billed me. And that's the call that you get all the time. You guys sent me a bill, and like, the defiance in me is immediately like, no, I didn't, but the company did.
But now I should have, because maybe you would have paid me as well. So
right. Or you guys denied my claim, or I called, they never realized that their carrier was XYZ, or, this one or that one, or that they had multiple, because let's face it, as an agent, of course, we want to tell you need to have your stuff bundled with the same carrier. That's kind of a crutch to hold on to, because that's not always how it works best for the client.
Sure.
They might need to have multiple products. And if you've got multiple products, what's best for the client is to have one agent, because if you've got two agents with multiple clients, those two agents are not communicating with each other, and they're combating each other to try and steal the rest of the business, right?
Yeah.
But what's beneficial is having one agent who knows you well enough to know which product is the right product for you. And then that's where it gets even more confusing for the client, because now they're not just with one carrier that's packaged together. They're with this one and with that one, and they might have their umbrella over here. and they don't know who to contact.
So let's talk
except
about
for
that
the
scenario.
agent.
So now that specific agent doesn't have glove box, and I'm with Progressive and Travelers, just as an example. The agent might just be like, hey, just go download the Progressive and Travelers app. So now you're on your phone and you've got the two apps and you're like, well, which one do I have with which carrier? Who's who?
And as a client, I'm thinking, what did I hire you for?
Yeah, it's strange.
Why am I doing all this?
You would have just gone direct if
Mhm.
you really
So
wanted
strange.
that experience. And then from the carrier app perspective, there's only certain things that they can offer on their portals. You can't make policy changes by and large because agents aren't comfortable with that. And probably the biggest piece in our philosophy is when they go to the Progressive app, for instance, they can't sell them more insurance. You're literally driving your client away from your business to where they could buy more policies. You're saying, hey, thanks
Right.
for your purchase. Bye. Like
Mhm.
that mentality makes zero sense. And so Andy and the branding team came up with the client experience platform, which we pushed out at the beginning of this year in January.
Which is
And
brand new, right?
it's brand
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
And
Category.
so what we've done is we've said, look, service is just an entry point to your relationship with your client. Why can't we leverage the technology that they're using service to sell them more insurance? These people have other needs. And I have yet to talk to an agent that said, you know what? I am kick-ass at cross-selling. I am so good at it. I crush cross-selling. No, they're like, no, I suck at cross-selling. I'm awful at it. Like, I just don't have
Or they don't even
time.
attempt it.
I don't have systems.
I kick ass at cross-selling. I am so good at it.
this is such a
I think I
lie.
see a new campaign
Right
we're going to be running on social media. I kick ass at cross-selling.
So what we're doing is
Write
we're
that down.
building an ecosystem where, hey, your clients are here for service. We already know what they have. Why don't we sell them more insurance with you? Like, think about it. And you'll want every client of yours on Glovebox so that we can effectively cross-sell them in a digital environment that they're already using. They're already comfortable with it. They already know, like, and trust you as the agent. It's very, very easy for us to make recommendations. And so I won't go too deep into what that's going to look like, but our first version will be out in Q3 and it's going to be insanity.
Yeah. Let's talk about another aspect that I saw in terms of this particular app in a void or an area that it can help with. The talent pool in the insurance industry is extremely low right now. I think we started off our conversation by talking about the aging agent or the senior agents, if you will. They're not going to be around much longer, and we don't have a ton of young talent in the industry right now. So there's two ways that insurance agencies are hiring right now. They're either hiring proactively because they see that they need to grow and they're going to hire the folks that they need in order to meet that growth when it gets there, or they're hiring reactively, which is one of the worst ways to hire because your folks that are already there are likely already drowning and already looking for another job opportunity because they're drowning. And it's so incredibly hard to get another seasoned, if you will. It's hard enough to train from the ground up, that get your own, grow your own. That takes a couple of years in order to get somebody up to the point where they become profitable to the agency. But when you're already behind, you need somebody that's seasoned. So you're taking on the responsibility of whatever bad habits that they've learned and hoping that you can untrain those and retrain those. Or you're doing the get your own, grow your own. What happens when you get into a mix where you've got folks that are drowning at this point and you can see that your retention is going down? When I looked at something that was like this kind of seems like a fit. Like, if you can't find the talent, then you need to take some of those processes off the folks that are there to free them up so that now it's like having another service agent that's going to be there at the moment that you need it. And the way I understand it from the demo that you guys that we did with you guys is y'all help with the integration from the agency management system. Y'all help get the information into you guys' system and all of that. So there's not a lot other than now we've got to retrain our clients to start using this app, that it's almost like an immediate fix for the reactively hiring agency.
There's enough to learn when you start a new career. We feel strongly, and we did this at our agency, should really only focus on doing one thing really well. So if you're going to be a producer, you're going to learn quoting and selling and marketing, of course, which is obviously vital to the whole process. But if you're adding in service for that individual, for example, and figuring out how to handle all those phone calls. That's just another dynamic that we don't feel like is necessary. So hopefully that's going to help in the hiring process and the training process, and ultimately going to scale and just.
Right. Well, I'm not just thinking about the producer though. So you went a little producery on there. On me there for a second.
Standard.
I'm thinking about the account managers and the CSRs too. So I was an account manager. I was a department leader. I did inside sales. I wasn't an outside producer that, went out and, had the centers of influence and drove that. I had a small, tiny little centers of influence that were mortgage brokers that I had personally dealt with. But in terms of when somebody's sick and they suddenly don't come back, and now we've got to try to find somebody else. That's what I'm talking about. You can drive new business all day long. Your new business doesn't mean that much if your retention sucks.
Yep.
If your retention is tanking and you're losing it as fast as you're bringing it in because you don't have the right amount of support staff.
Yep. And honestly, our business in general, retention gets overshadowed 99% of the time across the board. Carriers don't talk about it very much. They don't provide a lot of resources. Agents are really on their own. And it's a very tough thing to learn how to accomplish a decent retention. And it's exactly what you're saying. Look, if you really looked at the amount of inbound service requests that your service team is getting, you'll find an enormous amount of them are non-revenue generating and could easily be handled with technology. So why are we perpetuating?
Let's talk about a simple ID card, for example.
That's just a silly thing.
What are the statistics on when somebody is zeroed in and they're honed in on their task, but then that phone rings? Yeah. How long does it take them to get back to the task that they were doing? When you've got to pick up that phone, I need an ID card because I didn't pay attention to my renewal packet or my email and I can't print it off for myself. Can you please print one and mail it to me or email it to me? Yeah. But if they have an app that they can go to get their ID card that doesn't also take them to the carrier's site to, get hit by all those other distractors that you talked about previously. Yeah. That service agent is now focused on the renewal remarket that they were doing, or they're focused on looking at which market or which big clients coming up are the ones that need to be remarketed instead of focusing on a 15-minute conversation about
the revenue generating activities.
Our kind of diligence has shown that every time you answer that phone, it's costing you about $33 as an agency.
You said dollars.
Right. Dollars. So, well, think about that, though. Think about the resources that are being wasted. It's insanity. But then we get on demos with agencies. They pour their heart out to us on, oh, my God, we are drowning in service. We don't know what to do. We show them the solution and they go, oh, well, I just don't know if I have time for this right now. It's
or money.
Well, obviously, you don't have time for it right now. You're drowning in service work. It's making changes at the agency to do exactly what you're saying, be proactive and not reactive to the situation, because it's a slippery slope, and service is the hardest thing to hire for, and it's the hardest thing to train and keep those people. It is.
So when you get pushback like that from the decision makers in an agency, do you ever get the actual support staff going, wait, no, we need this?
Yeah. Right. Are you including support staff in your demos? Because if not, you should be. They'd probably be a huge marketing tool for your decision makers.
Well, we get reached out to by support staff constantly. Like, hey, saw it on social media, pushing it up to our principals. Like, this is amazing.
Here's what happens is the agency principal will take the demo and they're going to guess, I'm going to go back to my team and ask them what they think. But the problem is when they go back to their team and tell them what they think, they're not talking about it like the right way. They're not selling it the same way that it actually.
You should do it kind of like how you ever get offers, Hilton, come to this timeshare demo, but you really need to bring your spouse.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know they don't want you going, I got to talk about it with my spouse. You should almost require, I need some members of your staff on this call too.
Our favorite objection is when they have to go ask mom or dad. Like, hey, this is awesome. I got to go ask dad. We're like, we literally have a filter in our HubSpot CRM that says we got dad or mom. I got mom.
Doesn't it say
demo.
Mommy and daddy though?
I gotta go ask mommy on that one. Like, I'm the decision maker, but I gotta go ask mom.
So here's another thing that comes up is generation 2 or 3, right? Who's agency owner and right under their parents. They're going to take over the agency in the next couple of years, and they really want the tech, but their parents won't let them. Well, they're eventually going to get the tech, but it's too bad because this adoption that they should be getting right now in preparation for this upcoming digital agent opportunity and cross-sell ability is just going by the wayside because they're not ultimately going to make the decision. So if you're a G2 or G3 agency owner that's going to step in and take over soon, and I'll get everyone in the room. We'll have a good solid conversation on this because it's important.
Yeah, and I think agents, they look at our tech and they're like, well, I don't know, like a segment of our book wouldn't use this. They're an older
but those
generation.
are also the same agents that are up in arms about all the other insurtech and how it's driving business away from the independent agent.
Exactly. And we're not looking to be an end all be all. I don't want to support 100% of your book. I want to offset 25 to 35% of your service requests so you can reallocate those resources into exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
And that's where we position ourselves. I'm not looking to take over your entire service operation.
Now, and your pricing model for agencies is based on the number of clients they have in their AMS, right?
Right. And literally at our very basic return on investment, if we can offset 2% of your service requests coming into your agency across the board, I'll 3x your return on investment with Glovebox. So it's very basic elements. You're making money if we underperform like crazy. You're still 3xing your ROI.
Ryan, tell them the only problem they're going to have.
The only problem you're going to have is that you didn't buy more. That's the only problem you're going to have. So, no, it's pretty wild. But look, we get 7 to 8 inbound demo requests a day right now. Like agencies are definitely starting to see what's happening. We've been preaching it for years, obviously, because we've been all our gray hairs. Like we've been literally grinding on this project for years.
It's your job too.
I know. Like rejection is my job. And agencies are definitely starting to see the value in not just what's coming, what's already here. I mean, we could go off on embedded insurance and what's happening there, but
right. That was the other thing that's spinning around in my head is just, another way to compete with the embedded insurance.
Yeah. I mean, if you've never heard of a company called Matic, have you guys heard of Matic? They are a digital, quote unquote, because by the way, behind every digital agency is just someone picking up the phone, following up on leads. It's hilarious, but they're a digital agency out of San Francisco. They actually have a very brilliant business model. So what they've done is they've gone to the mortgage servicers. So you get your loan with whoever you got it through on the retail side. They sell it to the servicer. What they've done is they've gone to the servicers, and the servicer every year when they send out the statement the month before your insurance renewal, because they know that, they send out an offer to lower your insurance through Matic. Like, think about that. So I just spent all the time on my end working with my mortgage brokers, my front-end mortgage brokers, to get business up front when people are buying homes. Now they're being remarketed to by the loan servicer a year later. That's embedded insurance. And so if you don't think that that is going to be in all facets of consumer-driven technology, it will be there. And if agents aren't looking for solutions to help embed themselves in their processes, they're going to get overran by these large digital companies. But that's what we're focused on here at Glovebox is we can level the playing field. We can give them that digital technology to help them embed themselves as well. So
yeah. Well, it's been a fun conversation. I feel like we could go in so many more directions about this. I think for me, the greatest appeal in terms of this type of technology coming from an account manager standpoint is how much this could help me in my role to not have to do the little mundane tasks, that I can focus where my excitement really was, which was the retention and the I'm freaking awesome at cross-selling. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can focus on that. Now I might book the client experience app more than the other part because I'm freaking awesome at cross-selling. So no, it's fine. But let's talk about your podcast for a second. The words cease and desist are above your head right now. Where did that title come from?
It's all you.
No, this is you.
Andy, why do you keep giving the mic to Ryan?
Yeah, you talk.
You tell us good stories.
This is your baby. I got invited on the show. I'm a guest.
Yeah,
Cease and desist.
we talked about hosting a podcast for years and years. Actually, I think it was originally Sean's idea to even start one, but beside the point. So we were whiteboarding what this name of the podcast would be, and dating back to 2019 when we launched Glovebox, I remember I was making those reach outs to agencies. We didn't have a product yet. Well, we kind of started to get the product, and we started seeing interface, and I started doing demos, and we were reaching out to this one major insurance agency, an independent agency that's actually a publicly traded company. Anyway, so the executive team over there wanted to meet with us and did the demo. They absolutely loved it. Hey, we'll be back in touch in a couple weeks. Well, we didn't hear anything, crickets. So kept reaching out, nothing. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just go to their agents and find out what they think. So did a couple of demos with them. Of course, they liked it. And hey, we'll push that word up the line and tell your executives. And little did we know, a couple weeks later, we got a cease and desist from that company saying to stop reaching out to their agents, stop acting like you're affiliated with that agency. And so we got shut down from reaching out to those agencies in that company. We are kind
I
of,
love it. So your name's got a little bit of spite in it. I love it.
We're mocking that.
And then
that story.
they reached out to us last year looking to get an updated demo, and so I sent them a copy of the cease and desist.
And we have it hanging up right in front of us.
Yeah, we have it framed
Oh no!
right there, and we're looking to add to it. We want more.
I love it.
More cease and desist
We
orders.
want more.
See what we can get from this show.
Yeah. Anytime you're stirring up an industry like this, you're going to get pushback. So people are very cozy.
That's what it
That's
means to be a
amazing.
disruptor.
Yeah.
Yes, which kind of brings us back full circle that you guys literally sold your agency, your books, and you went in day one, not even having a product, taking a huge leap of faith. And regardless of how many pushbacks you got, I mean, heck, if I got a cease and desist on anything, I think I would quit. I don't think I'm strong enough to handle that.
We should send you a fake one just to see what happens.
I would quit. You already know.
Yes, I did.
You don't have to wonder. I'm an open book here. No, but you guys, you pursued what you saw was a dire need. And I love that that's just like the underlying theme to everything that there is to know about you guys. We discovered that while we were in Denver. And the fact that you're doing it together as brothers is even more amazing.
Yeah. And
you can just see the symbiotic relationship between you two, though I feel like there might be more to it.
We've only had a couple fights. We'll see if we have one after this show based on my comment at the beginning of the show.
They're like tussles. Yeah, more like, yeah. Like my goal is if he takes a day off, I'm going to move all of his office furniture outside on the front lawn of the office. That's my goal.
Hilarious.
So if you could take a day off, we're going to do that.
Oh, I'm going to get the locks changed so no one can get in the office. We're moving offices.
There's so much to do.
Yeah.
So I've, back in a prior company, I've actually gotten in trouble a couple of times because of my office pranks gone awry. So get with me afterwards. I can set you up with some good pranks.
We got to get you with Logan the astronaut. He came in one day wearing a Michael costume.
Oh,
he told everybody he wasn't coming into work that day, and then he set up a bunch of cameras around the office.
Boogeyman.
He scared are we allowed to cuss on this? He scared the crap out of me. Like literally, he was like in the corner of my office. I was the first one there.
We'll send you this footage.
We made like a montage of him scaring everybody. It was awesome. It was bad.
I am so happy that we've been able to have this conversation with you guys today. Any final parting words, anything that we haven't mentioned that you guys really wanted to get out there?
I would just say keep doing it for the ladies in the industry. I mean, you guys are awesome. You're leading voices, and probably more women look up to you than you know. So let's keep pushing the envelope. And look, you're right here. Why don't you just commit to doing a segment next year at the One City World Tour? You're on the spot.
I'm in.
Is it an official offer? Can we put this on the recording?
Absolutely. This is timestamped.
Otherwise, you can send us a cease and desist.
Why don't we just make it official now?
Put us on the agenda. I'll send you a headshot.
Boom. Done.
You'll finally get a headshot from Kat.
Yeah. So cool. Well, it's been established then, but yeah, keep doing your guys' thing because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing.
We appreciate you so much, guys. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for hanging around for another awkward conversation in insurance.
Stay tuned for new episodes from Awkward Insurance, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And be sure to check out the National Alliance on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or at scic.com.
Now go forth and be awkward.
Toodles!
Toodles!